Hey, what's up guys, it is your boy, I'm Peter here bringing you another video today. Today guys, we're going to be doing top 5 attackers. This is going to be voted by the Grand Council, so the Grand Council voted on this. I, voted as well, but, I don't really get to decide what the list really is. The Grand Council did, and of course I am part of the Grand Council, so technically I did have some part in it, but yeah, I did vote as well. So if you're in the Discord and you're a Grand Council member, thank you for voting. If you aren't in the Discord, or I don't know what you're doing, join the Discord. But also, if you are in the Discord, you're wondering how to get into the Grand Council, make sure you check the roles section in the Discord, and then that will tell you exactly how to be a Grand Council member. So yeah, that's one of the perks of being Grand Council. You guys get to vote for top 5s. So yeah. So here we go. Top 5 attackers for the month of April. Let's get it. Well, let's mention the honorable mentions first. Honorable mentions is going to be, of course, Corsair and Clyde. Pretty much to sum this up, both of these units are extremely good on both the mono teams. Not only that, giving everybody 20 art gauge with true art is very, very solid as well. Both of them. All of them have like a very good stats effect for their team. Pretty much Corsair's able to freeze, Clyde's able to burn, very, very strong. So yeah, that's pretty much what it is. Make sure you do have the true weapon though, or it's not even worth mentioning. So yeah. So coming in at the number 5 spot is going to be Freed. That is what everybody voted on, and that's what happened. So what happened to Freed for this to happen? Really, Freed just fell off the map pretty much. What I mean by that is it's not like Freed, got nerfed or anything like that. It's just pretty much Freed has simply got power creeped. There's a lot of units in this game now that is able to do Freed's job, which is just doing damage for his team, a lot better than what he can do. Of course, on Mono Light, however, he still is the best light attacker, but on everywhere else, he kind of isn't anymore, you know what I mean? So, literally, like, he's not like the go-to main attacker anymore. He's not like the strongest at all, but he still is the strongest light attacker. He's still extremely strong in this game. So yeah, so let's say why he is strong though for the current point in time. He still has the 50% skill CT for 16 seconds with normal art. Also, he can increase his crit rate up to 100% with his normal art, and then his true art, of course, being able to give him art gauge for every crit he hits during his true art, which is very strong. And then also on top of that as well, he gives you own art gauge 10 up with his skill, which is very, very strong. On top of this as well, Free is able to do light and dark damage, so he is type advantage against light and dark offensively, not defensively, so that's very, very strong. Or let me say dark against dark units, he's yeah, and also against light units. Yeah, I just said the right thing. Yeah, I thought I confused myself, but no, I'm fine. Also, his true weapon, which I'm assuming that you'll be using this on Freed if you have it because it's just so strong, being able to increase his his stats by 30%, and you will not flinch, which is very good for Freed. Also on top of this as well, you're going to be getting 20% art damage with the other ability on it, and then you're also going to be reducing your equipment CT by 20% if you're a god, and of course Freed is a god, so it works perfectly well with him. So yeah, nothing bad really happened to Freed. It's just he's pretty much getting power crept, and Freed just really can't keep up with everybody else in the meta. So yeah, apart from that, Freed, still, I think he's my boy, number 5. He's still a really good unit. I would recommend him to a lot of players. So yeah, apart from that, that is Freed coming in at the number 5 spot. Coming in at the number 4 spot is Jill. Jill was tied with Ifrit actually, and I want to talk about Ifrit for just a second before we talk about Jill. Is that Ifrit is extremely strong in this game. I do think Ifrit is one of the best attackers in this game and one of the best fire units in this game in general, because Ifrit literally has everything you want in a fire unit, which I just want to point that out because Ifrit is an extremely good unit. Don't think just because he's not on this list, he's not an extremely good attacker. He is very, very strong and very, very good. So Jill, a lot of people say, she's a breaker. You shouldn't put her on top 5 attackers. Well, a lot of people use this as an attacker more so than a breaker on most teams, or, on Mono Earth and other teams. So what does Jill do? She's able to clone herself with her true art for 20 seconds, which is very, very strong. Not only this, her clone is going to be copying everything that she does apart from equipment use. So literally, whenever you use a skill, your clone's going to do it. Whenever you use your normal art, your clone's going to do it. The only thing your clone will not do is equipment. So for example, if you use Curse Light Sword, then your clone's not going to use Curse Light Sword, you know what I mean? So it's going to be literally only what's in Jill's kit from, skill art, right there. I would say true art too, but true art just activates the clone. So her skill is very, very strong, giving you 2100 physical damage, or earth physical damage, and then BE appearance amount up 50%. And on top of that as well, you get own art gauge 3 up whenever you use it. And then her normal art is of course 1700% earth physical damage, and then you increase the damage and evasion rate of all your allies by 20% for 15 seconds. Very, very strong. Of course, if you are using the clone, I don't think the damage buff gets increased to 40%. I don't think that's how it works. It may work like that, but of course, you know, all your modifiers will be doubled. So instead of you doing 1700, you know, 1700 plus 1700, you know, 14, or what is it, 3400, right? And then, you know, 4200 on your skill. Very, very strong. So yeah, it's gonna be absolutely ridiculous the amount of damage that you can do from this skill. And also, I said 4200 or 3400, didn't I? 34,000. That's what I meant. So but yeah, because some people get confused about that. So your ability is, of course, one of the best abilities you have is Dark Agent. This, I think, increases your evasion rate by 10% whenever you activate your clone. On top of that as well, it gives you 50% more damage during the enemy break. You also have increased CT speed whenever you're near death, and then also HP recovers naturally by 16, just because. And then her equipment is very, very strong as well, being 5-star physical, 5-star defense, and 4-star support. Very good on Jill. That's Jill, pretty much one of the best earth attackers in this game right now, and just overall, you know, one of the best attackers in this game. She's able to do so much damage and do so much for your team. I highly recommend you guys use her if you have her. She's very, very strong. But yeah, guys, that's going to be Geo coming in. So coming in with the number 3 spot is going to be Malim. Malim is absolutely ridiculous in this game, and yeah, the only thing that kind of sucks about Malim, in my personal opinion, is she doesn't have a burn, if I remember correctly. I think, yeah, as a fire unit, she doesn't have a burn, which kind of sucks because, you know, I would like fire units to at least have some type of burn on them, but it's okay, it's okay. She still does a lot of damage. So what does Malim do for everybody who doesn't know what she does? She is, of course, the Tensuru crossover event, or the time I got reincarnated as a slime crossover event. So yeah, skill is 2500 fire physical damage, 6 seconds, 30% up their own attack power, 1k break. Yeah, so you know, you're gonna be increasing your attack power by 30% with your skill. Very good. Also, did I say that she was the time I got reincarnated as a slime? Like, she's the crossover unit from that. That's what I meant. So I don't know, that was bothering me. Her normal art is, of course, 13,000% fire magic damage, reflects and damages enemies' attacks for 4 seconds, 15 seconds, own art gauge 2 up. Now I want to say this real quick, is that whenever you reflect your damage, you have to really be sure that you time this, because if you don't reflect the damage, you pretty much don't do any damage with her normal art. So yeah, make sure you're doing that. Make sure that you are able to reflect damage and you're waiting for the enemy to do an attack or something so you can reflect it back at them, because if you don't, then I hate to break it to you boys, I really do, you're not doing any damage with Malim. And then her true art, of course, being 38,000% magic damage, well, fire magic damage at the very end of the day. Oh lord. So you get 150% during break, or 150% damage during break. Also, you increase your own critical rate by 100% for 15 seconds. So this thing is extremely strong in this game. Like, this true art is very, very good, because you're doing it, especially during break, right? During the enemy's break. You're going to increase your damage by 150%, which is very strong, because, you know, break, I think, already gives you like a damage modifier to an extent. I think, I could be wrong about that. And then you're increasing your critical rate by 100%, so you're completely negating or avoiding all of the defenses on an enemy. If you didn't know, if you have crit rate, if you crit in this game, right, if you have 100% crit rate or whatever, as long as you're able to crit in this game and you get off a critical hit, the critical hit completely ignores defense. Completely. Like, it doesn't even factor in defense at all in the damage formula. So that's why you see, like, people that can crit do so much damage in this game, because literally they just ignore the enemy's defenses completely. So yeah, that's very, very strong for a true art. On top of that as well, she has pretty good abilities. One of her abilities being struggle level 5. When receiving a 10% damage, oh wait, yeah, so 10% of the damage you receive of your max HP, you get 5 arcade up, I think that is. And then also the oldest devil damage is increased up to 50% as your own HP decreases. So the more and more, like, lower and lower your HP gets, the more your damage increases up to a maximum of 50%. So I'm pretty sure once you get to 50% HP, you get a 50% damage bonus while you're there. I'm pretty sure once you get healed, though, it goes back to 0. Like, if you get healed back up to full, I'm pretty sure it goes back to 0. I don't think it stays. Also, her slots are pretty good. 5-star magic, 5-star support, and 4-star physical. Very, very strong. Very, very solid. If you guys got this girl from the crossover event summons, be pretty happy because she is an extremely strong unit in this game. Number 2, of course, being the boy himself, Regulus. Regulus really hasn't went anywhere ever since he got his awakening, so let's talk about him. The boy Regulus is still up here, man. He's still number 2, except his friend Rags is no longer on the list. I won't really talk too much about it. Pretty much the only thing I'll say about Rags is that without Regulus, he's nothing, literally. So he's pretty much not that good at all. If Regulus, his buddy, isn't beside him. So yeah, but the boy Regulus, however, is extremely good, no matter what. So yeah, so why is Regulus so good? So for one, let's talk about his true weapon. His true weapon, which you're gonna need this on Regulus for him to even be a top 5 unit in this game. When you're critted by Regulus, your crit damage gets increased by 50%, and you automatically increase your art gauge every second. So let me say this is that, you know, for a lot of new players, they may say, oh my god, 50% crit damage, why is that even important on Regulus? Can he crit? Yeah, he actually can. He can crit with all of his abilities, so except his skill. So his skill gives himself is a skill called Dragon Killer. It's a 9-second cooldown, 1250 break, 2200% dark damage physical, and you lifesteal for 5% of the damage. His normal art increases all your allies crit rate by 50%. Also 10,850 break, 50 damage, 10,850 damage, dark damage. And then his normal art, of course, being a 100% crit rate increase for everybody on your team for 8 seconds. Everybody gets 100% crit damage, or not crit damage, crit rate. Crit chance. Everybody gets 100% crit chance on your team, 3,800 break, and then of course you're gonna be doing 2,500 and 25,550 dark damage, which is absolutely ridiculous. And that gets increased even more if you go up against a light unit, because you get light elemental damage times 1.5, which is just absolutely ridiculous, and increases Regulus's damage by a ton. And of course, you know, this gets increased even more with his ability that he has, which is Dark Elemental Mastery level 3, increase allies dark damage by 30%, and then of course this right here is increasing his crit damage by 50%. He just is an absolute beast. He does so much for the team. And yeah, so another thing I want to point out too is Regulus doesn't need to be on mono dark. He doesn't have to be on mono dark. He can be on any team that you want him to be on, because he gives everyone crit chance. It's just because that makes him extremely strong in this game and extremely good. So literally this guy can be on any team you want. Just make sure you have his true weapon so he can do the most damage possible, and he can get that art gauge and all that stuff. But yeah, the boy Regulus comes in number 2, still an absolute beast of a unit. So yeah. And then coming in at the number 1 spot is, of course, Rivia. Here she is, coming in at the number 1 spot. Guys, I'm going to keep it a whole beam with you, dude. Rivia, I'm going to say it. And everybody who kind of, you know, doesn't really mess with JP and doesn't really, you know, follow maybe everything, doesn't really know, they see Vox and they're like, oh my god, Vox is the best. Rivia, even once Vox comes out, Rivia is still, I think, the hardest hitting Blood Knight, if I'm not mistaken. Like, she does the most damage out of all the Blood Knights, all because of her Magia Drive ability. But, of course, let's talk about why she is so good in this game and why she's such a strong attacker. So, first, one of her abilities is increase on critical rate by 50%, just because she has default, literally, as soon as you start the fight, 50% crit rate. Good. She has Art Gauge, 100 up at the start of every battle. So, every battle you go into, you're going to be increasing your Art Gauge by 100, which ties in perfectly with her kit. We're going to get to the Magia Drive ability whenever we get to the Magia Drive on her true art. So her skill is 2800% earth damage physical, increase own art gauge by 15, a 10-second cooldown, 1k break. Her normal art is 19,000% earth damage physical, and you increase your own crit rate every time your art is used up to a maximum of 50%. Technically, so yeah, so every time you use your normal art, you're going to be increasing your crit rate by 10%, of course, up to the maximum of 50. So there's a way to only use 4 normal arts and be at max crit chance, is by using something like Curse Light Sword, which Curse Light Sword gives you 10% crit rate, which is able to, you know, make it to where you only need 4 normal arts to be at 100% crit rate. So really good. Then her true art activates Magia Drive for 60 seconds. So what effects does she get once she activates Magia Drive? When in Magia Drive, as soon as you activate it, you get 100 art gauge up, because why not? On top of that is where you get crit damage, 150% up, and you get damage from enemies 30% up during Magia Drive. Now damage, this is damage Rivia receives, not damage that she deals out, but the damage that Rivia receives is she takes 30% more damage in Magia Drive, which kind of sucks. It kind of does, but it's okay because don't just turn off your brain as soon as you see that. There is ways to counteract this. One of the best units in the game to counteract this is literally her best friend, Sakura Mirror, or Earth Mirror, however you want to call her. Literally one of the best ways to counteract that. So that's what she gets whenever she's in Magia Drive, and then she gets 42,000% Earth damage physical when used during Magia Drive. Increase own art gauge by 100. So you're going to be able to instantaneously get a normal art back, and then if you have an art battery on your team, good lord, dude, rest in peace the boss, because literally you're spamming true art the entire time during Magia Drive. It is absolutely ridiculous the amount of damage this unit can do by herself without any type of offensive buff. Literally, it is absolutely absurd the amount of damage that she can do. So yeah, the only thing that I will say that's a downfall to Rivia, apart from, you know, her taking 30% more damage, is that her true art is kind of slow, in the sense that I think she does like this huge uppercut in the beginning of the animation, and then she falls back down, but kind of her falling back down is really slow. So yeah, but apart from that though, she is really strong. But yeah, that's the only complaint I think I have about her. Apart from that, like I said, she's the best unit in this game, or the best attacker in this game. So yeah, of course, you know, I will say I recommend a build for Rivia. This is what I would recommend for her right here, what I have on: Curse Light Sword, Earth Relic, and Mako Knuckle. I was using Alma's Hat for the 30 art gauge, but I thought instead everybody was like, OP, use Earth Relic instead, so you can get that 20% stats up. Even if you're not using her on Mono Earth, you still will be able to get that 20% stats up for Rivia. And I was like, you know what, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, cool. So yeah, apart from that though, guys, that is going to be it for the top 5 this month. Absolutely amazing list. Changed up the meta a lot last time. You know, last time since we've been here, a lot of new units came in, man. You know, knocked a lot of units off. And yeah, apart from that though, guys, thank you all for coming out, man. This has been the top 5 attackers for the month of April. And I'm out, guys. Peace. Also, don't forget to like the video. Also, we streaming tonight at 7 p.m., so be there. But yeah, that's going to be it. Peace.